Hey kids, do you like animals? Do you also like weapons of mass death and destruction? Well, today must be your lucky day, because it looks like there's been a crazy mix-up in the God's resentment towards humanity factory. And now, straight off the production line, we have animal explosives. Patent pending. So it turns out, for some bizarre reason, in the mid-20th century, people were just really fascinated with making animals go boom. So in World War II, we got to see multiple weapons projects devoted to just that. So, without a second to waste, let's just dive right in. First off, we have the infamous bat bomb. First conceived in 1942 by American dental surgeon Lytle S. Adams, the device consisted of a large tube filled with hibernating bats with literal napalm bombs glued to them. When the bomb was dropped by a B-52 bomber, the device then flipped open like an accordion and released all the bats, who would then seek shelter in dark areas like roofs, attics, and your preteen years. Then the bombs would go off and set fire to wherever they ended up, which in a place made mostly of wood and paper like 20th century Japan, would be pretty devastating. Funny enough, it got its first real-world test run when a bomb was being transported at Carlsbad Army Airfield, the doors just randomly swung open, and bats went all over the place, which then burned down the entire hangar they were in. After that, the Air Force just dumped the project on the Navy and called it a day. Ultimately, it was decided that the project would just take too long to make, and that the money should be spent on another, faster-moving project. A little program known as the Manhattan Project. Next up, we have another blessing to our furry little friends, the rat bomb. These were developed by the British SOE for use against the Germans during the war. The idea being, get a bunch of dead rats, stuff them with plastic explosives, then lay them around German boiler rooms. The boiler attendant, when he saw the thing, would naturally then just shovel it into the boiler to dispose of it, and then kablam! However, the first shipment of rats was actually caught by the Germans, so they were never actually used in the war. However, it turns out they were kind of a success after all, since after the Germans found it, it kinda sent them into a frenzy across the country, looking for dead rat bombs that didn't actually exist. With the good old Brittles concluding, the trouble cost to them was a much greater success to us than if the rats had actually been used. Now that's what I call positive thinking. And finally, we have what's sure to be the most popular of the bunch, the dog bomb. Also known as the anti-tank dogs, these were dogs trained by the Soviets to destroy German tanks on the battlefield. The way it would work is, strap a harness loaded with explosives to the pooch in question, have the dog run underneath the tank, pull a cord to release said harness, and then have him run back before the bomb detonates. Simple, right? The only problem was, training the dogs to do just that was a little easier said than done. So it often went like, okay boy, go to the tank. Yes, yes, just go to the tank. Yes, good boy. All right, now pull the string. Pull the string. Come on boy, pull the string. Pull the string. No, Fido! So after enough of that, the Red Army just decided to say fuck you to PETA and just have the dogs be suicide bombers, putting a lever on top that would set off the bomb as soon as the dog dove under the tank. But when they tried it out on the battlefield, surprise surprise, a dog is still a dog. So all the gunfire and explosions and shit going on would scare the dogs, who would naturally then run back to the trenches they were released from and... Now, as crazy as it sounds, there are actually still a few other explosive animals I left out of this video, so let me know in the comments if you want a part 2. Now, I think the moral of the story is, when Hitler is a-clappin', about to bust the load, just grab a bunch of critters and rig them to explode. Anyways, I'm Samuel Drella, and thank you for watching.